Alright, good evening everyone and welcome back again to IG8Live Esports this evening with Midwest F1 Esports Division 2, and of course we're at ZANVOORT this week for the Dutch Grand Prix, already in the qualifying session here with quite a few cars out on track. I think most of them currently on outlaps at the moment, so we're going to start the season laps coming pretty soon. I think Yates and Hightower currently on qualifying laps here, so definitely we'll start to see some lap times in here pretty soon. And yeah, we'll see where they stand at the end of this. We'll see what the starting grid order is going to be in about 15.5 minutes or so. So let's see how well the qualifying session goes. Looks like it might be a dry qualifying session all the way through, and hopefully for them a dry race as well. We're not entirely sure about that, as we'll have more information as we get through the session. So a bit different with this week. We're on YouTube instead of Twitch, so basically the same stream, just on a different platform. Just testing something out to see for us having issue we used to have, which we shouldn't have anymore, but I just want to see what's gonna happen and how that's gonna work out. So yeah, we'll see how it goes on through though, and we might be returning to Twitch next week, maybe not. We'll see. Just depends on how this session goes, so we'll see what's gonna happen as we get around to that there. But yeah, qualifying session still on here. Got quite a few cars about to get lap times in. Yates is the first one in at 110.4. Looks like Hightower in the Red Bull gets a 111.3. Of course, this is only going to be their first set of lap times coming in, so we do expect some faster times to come in, and of course the gaps between these lap times are going to get closer as we get further on into the qualifying sessions. So we're going to see how that's going to. Hopefully the voice audio on a bit of a different setup from this week as well. Things have been moved around a bit, so hoping I got the mic at basically the same usually heard used to be. Is that true? Hopefully audio is coming through as it does. It doesn't, apologies on that, but I think it should. Alright, so let's see where we are right now. Arthur Thomas in the McLaren. Let's have a look at the grid order as it is. Slayer Rice on provisional pole right about now, 109.9. Mitch down to second right now. Kings in third. Yates down to fourth. And Travis Scott's in fifth. Got Ulek in sixth. I think it's down to 7 as Sui goes up to second in the Alpine. So it's a 110.1 for him. Only about 100 of a second separates him from Mitch there at the moment. So yeah, definitely looking pretty interesting with the lap times in. Pretty competitive grid here with Division 2 as we saw last week in Spain. So we'll see what's going to happen this week as we're in the Netherlands here. Should be an interesting race though. It's an interesting track, ZANVOORT. A lot of twists and turns along this track here, and I think the main straight is basically the one straight that you have on the track that goes for just a bit, and of course that DRS zone on that is going to help a lot with overtaking as well. So we'll see how that goes on through for the drivers this evening. Like the McLaren of Thomas here on a pretty good lap, a purple sector 2. Not sure if he had a purple sector 1, wasn't paying too much attention there. But we'll see if he can get himself maybe into the top 3 or top 4 as he gets around the final turn here. He should be getting across the line here any second. Let's see where he goes on the grid. Goes up to P5, not a bad position for him there. It's still 12 minutes and a bit over that currently remaining here for the qualifying session. Thomas currently P5. Slayer Rice still on provisional pole right now. Well, there goes Lightwork now. He's taking over provisional pole. So both Aston Martins are looking to be starting on the front row if things stay as they are right about now, going down to the end of the session, which we know probably is going to change. We're not sure. Lightwork though pretty competitive over the last race that we saw. So we'll see how that works out with him. And Slayer Rice out in front there. And of course, I think the Alpine trying to get with that as well. So not too far off, just about 2/10 down from the time. So yeah, definitely going to be a bit interesting to see how it works out with the front runners there. Let's go down at the back of the grid with Josh in the Mercedes right now. Oh, and there a bit of a spin on him. Hopefully we didn't cause that. Let's go on someone else. Frenchie, where is he? The next Mercedes. He spin, this is probably going to be on us. We'll see what's going to happen. And he's trying to finish a lap here right now. I'm going to go on board for a bit. Usually having some good glass situation. I think cars slowing down on track. Possibly what's happening there. Not entirely sure as yet. Let's see how we get around with this. Also, Frenchie's about to finish his lap. Where does he go on the grid? Only P12. Not the best of lap here. So 113.2 slowest lap than we have so far in the qualifying session. So definitely needs to improve the pace a bit there. Mason now on an out lap. Josh back into the pits. Cam Tizzle in the pits here still. Need to get a lap time in. Let's go on with the Alfa Romeo right now. As he gets through sector 1. Going to do over. Can't have a look, see what's happening there. The light work still on provisional pole. 10 minutes here still left to go in the qualifying session. Still a lot of time actually for them to improve their time here. So how well they get around with that. I think so far so good though. We got top 2 drivers in the 109, being both of them are Aston Martins as well. So I think that team definitely looking to make some decent points here this evening for the race session. We'll see how that works out. The Alpine still in 3rd, Mitch down in 4th, Travis Scott in the Red Bull in 5th, King in the Williams in 6th, and then we got Thomas in 7th, Yates 8th, Bullock in 9th, Frenchie 10th. Altonian in 11th, Hightower down to 12. But Frenchie improved his time. Still on with Mason here as he roundabout the final turn back onto the main straight. So how fast does he go here? And he goes P13 with that. Lap later on, because we'll see what's going on with that at the moment as we get the session. Hoping this is stable as we get on through this. Tend to have some issues with YouTube sometimes, so been off it for quite a while actually, quite a few months I think. How it works out in this case here. Looks like it's going fine so far. I'm not sure. Any disruption as we started. Anyway, let's get back on with this. So on with the Ferrari now. Cam Tizzle here, getting around sector 1 still, trying to get his first lap time in for the session here still. So we'll see what that's going to be like when he does get it through. Hope he gets a pretty good lap in because he really needs one at this point. Time is going to be starting to go away from them a bit here, so he has to be gotta be quick with this to make sure he gets a good lap time in. Josh there back into the pits. He needs to get a lap time in as well. Looking to see if we have any change up in the order as we get around with it. So Lightwork still on top of the leaderboard here on provisional pole. He's back on an outlap right about now. Slayer is out on track as his teammate, so we'll see if that's going to be changing anytime soon. Cam Tizzle in the Ferrari, he's up into P11 now. Not a bad time, decent position so far. He still has at least a run or two more around the track here to possibly try and improve his time, because we know the rest of the drivers are going to try to improve their time and getting around with that there. Go on with the driver on provisional pole right now. His teammate coming behind of him, I think on a lap here as well, up in a lap here. See if he's going to change on with this here. So Lightwork trying to possibly get another lap here, or no, he's slowing down. Not sure if he was giving his teammate a bit of a slipstream run there. Drivers do tend to do that. So on the Slayer Rise right now, let's see if he can improve his time. He's about 4 tenths down from the time of his teammate. The 109.175 for Lightwork. Slayer Rise at 109.539. Let's see if we can settle out that difference and possibly even get this time closer to a 109.1 or maybe even better, getting to the 108s. It'll be interesting to see here along ZANVOORT. So we'll see what's going to happen. Yates is up into a P3 right now. Third fastest driver on track, looking to possibly start on the second row if he can. Celia is back into the pits there. I'm quite sure Lightwork is going to be getting back in as well. Where's the Alpine suit right now? Let's try and get around. After getting into the pits, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Alright, so majority of the drivers back into the pit lane right about now. We got Travis Scott. I think he's getting on a lap on the Red Bull. Let's have a look. Like he's getting on pretty well through turn 1. getting to the first sector now. So let's see how his lap goes. Everyone else getting back into the pits. It's just under 6 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. We know definitely what's going to happen here. Everyone's going to be preparing to get back out for one final run on track to see if they can improve their time. Maybe 2 runs. This depends on how much time they have when they actually get the car back out on track. So see how that's going to work. So far so good with the lap times that we had. We can see a lot of 110s. We got top 4 drivers in the 109s, so we know definitely some intense competition. Getting a wrong turn 1 on the opening lap of this race, and we can see from the map there it's really not a long run down into turn 1. A bit of a right hander getting a wrong parabolica, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be stuck on the inside, who got to be fourth on the outside, and if anyone's going to end up off track, if we're going to have a possible VSC or safety car on that opening lap. Really highly doubted with these guys from what you saw last week, so I want to see what's going to happen this week. Got 15 drivers as we can see right now in the session. I highly doubt we're going to have more getting into the race, but I think that's more than enough number to have an exciting race with. Travis Scott improves his time. He's up into P3 now. The Red Bull is third fastest, 109.9, just about 4 tenths off the time of Slayer Rise right now. Slayer Rise still a few tenths off his teammates' time because Lightwork went even faster. It's a 108.9 from him. He's made it to the 108s. I think the only driver actually to even do it here in the session so far. He still got time in the session, so this still could all change. Lightwork could lose that provisional pole. We'll see what's going to happen as we get around with it, but for the moment he holds it on through, and his teammate holds on to second place here in the qualifying session. So they're looking to be starting both cars on the front row of the grid. Going to be interesting if they do in terms of strategy, I guess, for the team on the opening lap. We'll see how that works out. Where is Mitch at the moment here? He's getting wrong. Trying to improve his time to 109.996. He does improve by about 2 tenths. He goes up to third fastest now, so Travis Scott down into fourth. Red Bull loses another position here. So Mitch up into third, not a bad position. Not able to get past either Aston Martin here at the moment though. 2 tenths off the time, pretty close, I'll say that. So possibly maybe one more run, he could get this done. What's gonna happen? Got Hightower down at the back of the grid here in the next Red Bull. Let's see if we can improve his time, possibly get somewhere closer to his teammates starting out in front. I think he's getting ready for his final run possibly here, or finishing off a lap. I'm not sure. We get back into the pit and get back out. Not sure if there's enough time, because we do have just about 3 minutes or so left in qualifying, so really not a lot of time here. Just a minute or so for a lap, so they got to account for that, getting in and out of the pit lane. What's gonna happen if you get around with it? I think he's scoring on one final run here, possibly the final run on. It depends how much fuel he actually has in the car here, so we'll see how that works out. Josh in the Mercedes down in 15, still no lap time from him as yet. Remember, if you invalidate a lap here, it doesn't count. It doesn't go on the board. Even if it's the fastest lap on track, if it's invalidated, you cut the corner, that's it, it's going to be over for it. They take it back. So they got to make sure that they stay within track limits. This is, of course, how they get penalties during the race session as well. The Lightwork still on provisional pole at the moment here, 108.9. His teammate still on, still just behind him there in second, 109.5, 4 tenths. 2 tenths off, 5 tenths off. It's Adaltonian, he's out of the session. Now that Alpine is out. His teammate in 7th right about now, so he's stuck in 11th. If that position holds all the way through, we'll see what's going to happen. We're going up to Slayer Rise right now, possibly on his final run on track here. Let's go on board for a second, see what's happening. As he's currently in sector 2 and going. Want to see if he's going to be able to improve his time here or not. Getting into a bit of traffic here as well. Looks like Mitch is out as well. No chance of improving past third. and he does improve by only a 10, but close to about a 10 there. So he puts just holds off in the second place, so 109.484. His teammate on an out lap gonna try to improve that lap again, even if he can, he's just gonna do it. I guess not really very important. I highly doubt anyone's gonna get past that 108.9 at this point in the session, but it could happen. It could actually just happen. So I think he's not taking any chances with it. He's gonna run one more lap on track. We got 38 seconds left in qualifying, so we gotta move on, getting around the final sector here. I think he definitely has enough time to get around with that. So let's see where the rest of the grid is at. Yates here getting going here at the moment here. Had quite a few moments in the last race. Let's see how his session goes this week. The 19.5 for him so far. It looks like he might be staying with that time. Starting second row on the grid, not going to be a bad position to be starting on if he holds that true. Let's see what's going to happen here. It looks like that's going to be it for him, but I think definitely light work, and he just improved his time through the first sector. That's a purple sector 1. He's actually beating it with 1 lap time here if he does get a faster lap here, because he's already on provisional pole. Doesn't look like anyone else is going to get a faster lap. King's still on a lap there. Yates, I know he's given up on his lap. I don't think anyone else besides Josh Young at the back of the grid in the Mercedes. Doesn't look like the Mercedes are having much luck here at the ZANVOORT circuit. So it looks like light work and Slayer Rice might be starting on the front row of the grid here. We'll see what's going to happen. The team definitely be happy about that though. Both Aston Martins, P1, P2, is going to be interesting to see how they hold back the grid on the opening lap. We got light work getting around the final corner. Looks like we'll go back into the pit lane though. Highly doubt he's going to finish that lap. And I think that definitely is it for qualifying here, because we're out of time now, and I think everyone's finished running. Whoever's not, well, they're just getting back into the pits right now at the moment. So I think that's going to be over in just a few seconds, and of course we'll have one final look at the starting grid. Alright, I think formation lap is still off, if I'm correct, as I think they fixed the issue with that, or I was told to fix the issue with that. But I'm not sure if it still works. I think the guys, just for safety reasons, just still leave the formation lap on, off, and yeah, get straight into the race session once this is over. Just a few minutes before everyone's logged onto it. I think that's it. But let's have a quick look at the starting grid order here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Yates starting third. Okay, so there we go. So qualifying over. This is going to be the starting grid order for Division 2 here, Middle F1 Esports for the Dutch Grand Prix. Light work on pole out in front. Slayer Rice, his teammate, starting just alongside him there in second. We got Yates and Mitch Burns, they're starting third and fourth. King 69 in fifth. Cam Tizzle 6th. Travis Scott 7th. Sue in 8th. We got Thomas 9th. Ulak in 10th. We got Adolfinian in 11th. Mason 12th. Hightower 13th. Josh in 14th. I think his teammate starting in 15th in the next Mercedes. That's Frenchie down at the back there. That's going to be a starting grid order. The fastest lap in qualifying at 108.9. We'll see what the race pace time is going to be as we get around to that. But yeah, we're going to wait for the start of the race now. Okay, guys, here we go. So the start of the Dutch Grand Prix. We got 5 lights on and they are ready to go. We're going to switch on to the 2 Aston Martins out in front. Let's see who gets a better start here between the 2 teammates. Lightwork holding on to the lead. His teammate going to be on the inside, trying to follow him on behind now as we have a look at the rest of the grid coming on through. Looks like no major incidents getting a wrong turn. 1 is quite clean so far as they get on through. Quite close gaps out in front. Yates very close behind. Slayer Rise might be able to get past if he can find a good exit of one of the corners here. Just holding his position for now as they get on through. I think we're going to switch a few things on here if we can very quickly. Have a look at tires as well as they get on through in terms of strategy and keeps going here. So Yates on the hard tires here, so a bit slower compared to Slayer Rise and Lightwork starting on the mediums out in front of him. Majority of the drivers on the mediums here as well. We're still in the opening lap. We'll see how well this goes. I don't even see a yellow flag here on the opening lap. So yeah, I think quite clean from the guys here for Division 2. Lightwork holds on to the lead though. 6 tenths ahead of his teammate as Yates follows on through there in P3. We got the Williams just behind of him. Another 4 tenths behind. Not too far. Looks like Thomas and Tissel having a bit of a battle for 6th position down at the back there. Looks like Thomas is up in the 6th. Cam Tissel down to 7. The Ferrari lost that position. Might be able to get it back. We'll have a switch over and see what's happening here because it's a pretty close gap. We got Travis Scott there in the Red Bull. He's close out behind the Ferrari as well. And let's get into lap 2. They're going to go side by side into turn 1 for this. Let's see who gets the better run here. And looks like the Red Bull has a much better run down that main straight. He's going to go after the McLaren here of Thomas now as he holds his position still up into 7th position now though. Cam Tissel still about 2 tenths behind, so he might be able to get it back. Following behind that is both Alpines as they're running behind each other. It's about 2 tenths between them, so you see how well that is going to go. Out in front, Lightwork still leads. Slayer Rise still in second. Is about half a second where the gap is. We got Yates down just about 3 to 4 tenths behind, so it's still pretty close to the gaps as the race still is just into lap 2. Getting to lap 3 pretty soon because the lap really is not too long around the track here. I think it's 36 laps are going to be going around, so we'll see how it goes as we get halfway through at least for the race. But for the moment, the gaps are still pretty close and they're keeping it that way. No DRS advantage until we get into lap 3, so they're going to have to just rely on the DRS and just the straight line speed of the cars and this as much as they can break getting through and hopefully try to gain positions that way as they can here. We'll have a look at position changes in just a sec. Let's go back up front. As you can see the gap between the 2 Aston Martins as they head into lap 3 here now. We're going to have DRS come online. Lightwork with the fastest lap in the session so far, of course expected, as he's leading his team by half a second. DRS is now online. It's going to be an advantage of quite a few drivers on the grid. As we can see, most of the drivers are within a second. It looks like one of the Alpines are out, and it's a virtual safety car for that incident, and I think we just saw it on track here for a second. I'm not sure what exactly happened down in the back here. Oh, they got going out of the session, unfortunately. Switches back out in front. It's only a virtual safety car, which means they just have to slow the entire race down just a bit. They're not actually going to bring a safety car out on track. So this is not going to last too long. They're going to clear that incident now very, very quickly. I'll be getting back racing before, hopefully we get into lap 4 here. But everyone has to slow down quite a bit here. And of course, no overtaking as we get through the VSC period on track. As it is right about now, let's have a quick look at a few things if we can. Position changes. Top 2 drivers still where they started the race. Lightwork, Slayer Rise, and Yates 1, 2, and 3. We got King 69 went ahead of Mitch Burns on the opening portion of the race there. Travis Scott and Cam Tissel, they switched positions very recently around lap 2. I think it was that we had a look at that. The Alpina Su is in 8th, his teammate out of the session, unfortunately. Ulek in 9th, he's gained 1 position. Josh up 4 position, his teammate up 4 position. Both Mercedes worked their way up quite a bit here on that race start. Thomas in 13. I think they're back racing again. Track is green and they're gonna go for it once again. It's about 9 tenths now between the top 2 in the race, now over a second. So it looks like Slayer Rise might not have the advantage of having the DRS advantage off his teammate. We'll see how that's going to work out for them. I would expect he would let his teammate be, say, within a second, but probably saying got to keep up with him out in front. He's trying to keep that lead and wants to keep it the way it is right about now. It's 1.1 second. Yates closing his gap. He's down to about 3 tenths behind the Aston Martin right now. So on board with him, trying to see how close he can get and possibly stretch this through to an overtake, maybe down the main straight. I think it's the most I think it's the best place possibly to try and do it, or if you can get him into one of the breaking corners, I'm not sure. We'll see how it works out for him. But yeah, at the moment here, it's going pretty well. Only 1 driver out. And it was just a VSC, not a major incident to have a full safety car on track. Gonna keep this going as it is. Out in front of Lightwork, definitely extending his lead. It's up to 1.2 seconds. Up to 1.3 seconds ahead of his teammate now. Of course, his teammate under a bit of pressure here from Robert Yates, who's catching up down the main straight. He's using the DRS. I think he had, no, I'm not sure if the DRS came back on him, but I think he had that advantage. He should be able to use it. He had a VSC. I think he will be back online by now. Either way, the straight line speed worked pretty well for him. So he's up in the second place. Got clear rise through the main straight here. Got away to take down into turn 1. Looks like King 69 in the Williams. He's catching up to Slayer Rise now. He's P4. He's about only a 10th behind. So trying to follow on with that battle as we get on through here. We looks like Slayer Rise might be losing another position before we get through into lap 6 if he's not careful here. The Williams definitely looking for that overtake on the medium tires as well. Yates got ahead on the hard tires though, but I think the straight line speed through the main straight actually helped him through quite a bit there. King 69 trying to keep that gap under 2 tenths until at least to get to the start finish straight, and I think that will gonna help him get the overtake done, and definitely should be able to have the DRS advantage at this point in a session, because he's been within a second even where Slayer Rise was there in third. Let's see how it's gonna go as we see. I think that's both Yates and Slayer Rise pulling on the inside down the main straight, trying to keep the Williams out of the slipstream. Maybe it worked a bit. Looks like Yates lost the position though, going through that into that next lap there. So he's back down to third. Slayer is back up into second, having to defend that position probably for the remainder of the session that he's gonna be there in second. They're fighting for it again here as Yates is pushing right up to the rear of the Aston Martin. He's gonna go for that move again. The Williams trying to keep a close gap. He's only 2 tenths behind as well, down to only a 10th. So looks like Yates might be in trouble here as well as he's pushing for an overtake. He might be overtaking as well if that Williams can't get it wrong. He's trying to get alongside him, pushes around the outside. Maybe he switches to the inside, but he's keeping behind the Alfa Romeo at the moment. So this is getting quite interesting. This, of course, is a battle for P2 in the race as Lightwork in the lead is 2 seconds now ahead of his teammate Slayer Rise, who's in second, fighting for that position. We're trying to keep that position at least. We got Yates and King 69 trying to get themselves up into second place if they can here. We know that Williams definitely wants to get by. And we go down the main straight again. There goes the gap as it closes down. We got Yates on the outside going around the Aston Martin. Looks like he's going to get it done. We got the Williams coming here as well. So this is an interesting move. The Williams might take it on the inside of the Aston Martin through the next turn. Not close enough. He has to hold it back to keep it on the racing line. Try to avoid getting into one of those barriers on the side or possibly cutting the corner here. He's down side by side with Slayer Rise. Can he get past? No, he's on the inside. He might actually get it done. I think it's a bit depending on the straight line speed of both of these cars here. Who has the better run going through for it? And it's turn by turn, as we said. It's quite a twisty track, I'll call it that, here at ZANVOORT. So always a lot of fun for this race as well for the Dutch Grand Prix. But they gotta be so careful in terms of overtakes here. Not a lot of straight to do it on. As we said in qualifying, it's only that main straight that's the longest that they have on track to try and get overtakes done. The DRS advantage definitely helps them through there as well. So they kept positions as it is, most of it so far after those overtakes. Slayer Rise down to 4th though. He started second in this race. He's now lost 2 positions. He lost it once to Yates, gained it back, now lost it again, then lost it to the Williams as well, who followed Yates through, took the advantage, and just kept as close as he could, and he's got the overtake done. He's up into third. Now he's up into second place now, out in front. I think we missed that overtake for a second there. So King 69 up into second, Yates down to third. He's lost a position. He's going to try to get it back. Not going to be happy at third. He started in third place in this race. He's been fighting with Slayer Rise from the opening lap to get up into second. Didn't finally get it. Now has a bit of a battle with the Williams here to try and get back into second place. Lightwork in the meanwhile is building his gap out in front. He's now 2.8 seconds out ahead, and I think he's going to continue doing that. Possibly in the next few laps he's going to be running his own race out in front and not have to worry much about what's happening behind of him here. These guys are fighting for a second place. I think we actually kept it mostly here. Got Thomas and Josh into the pit lane right about now, doing a bit of a switch, getting back out on track. Not trying to have damage. We're about to be switching tires. We'll see what's going on with that in a second. It's a 4-10 gap between the Williams and Yates. Yates still pushing on through for this. We're going to have one last look with them as we get around the parabolic here, getting back onto the main straight. Let's see, can Yates close the gap on the Williams again? Has the DRS advantage here, which the Williams doesn't. He closes the gap down right up to the rear, but he's not able to get by. Just not close enough as they get into lap 9 now of 36 in this race. And I think that battle is just going to continue on. So let's go down to the Ferrari of Cam Tissel now. He's chasing after Mitch Burns here for a 5th position. It's a half a second gap between them. We're still keeping an eye out in front with Yates and King. See if that's going to be another switch happening or not, which we're expecting will possibly happen very soon in the session. See if what's going to happen with these two down in the back here, though. Looks like Travis Scott and Hightower both were about 7th and 8th right now. Not much in terms of gap, but the rest of the grid coming at the back there. But I think Cam Tittle trying to close his gap on the AlphaTauri. He might be able to pull for an overtake. It's going to be a bit difficult with this, though. 2/10 is the gap. He's trying to push it along on the inside. Tries to get a better exit here. Can he do it, though? Possibly going to have to keep this getting around to the main straight. Oh, and he has a bit of a moment there with the braking. Really tried to keep that car from going into the back of the AlphaTauri. Gonna try to keep it on through. 2/10 out in front, 1/10 between Yates and Williams, and they're gonna go side by side with this here. Let's see who gets it down to the turn. Looks like Yates gets ahead of the Williams. He's back up in the 2nd place. The Williams now down to 3rd as they get into the next lap there. And we know that's gonna continue on through between these two here. On board with the Williams. See how they get this going, but so far so good for Yates at least. He's got back the position up into 2nd place. Put King down to 3rd. And we got Slayer still coming there in P4. Just a bit further on behind these two, though, battling for the position. And we're following back here with the Ferrari of Cam Tissel again, trying to get past the AlphaTauri here. See how close he's going to keep his gap going. Then have a look from on board with Mitch here. See how close he's going to have this gap towards Cam behind of him. This is a battle for 5th position. We got a Red Bulls. Both Red Bulls come behind, but they're just a bit further behind, 1.6 seconds to be exact here. They're trying to break that gap down. Let's see if they can. So 2 main battles we have on track here. And there goes the Ferrari on the inside. I want to see if Yates is switching it up in front again with King. Doesn't look like that switch actually happened. So Cam Tissel goes back up into 5th. Mitch Burns back down to 6th now. And that main straight advantage does help with the overtake there, especially with the DRS, and DRS works pretty well. As we saw with Spain last week down the main straight, I think it was basically the same thing. Just gave the drivers most of an advantage in terms of getting an overtake done, so they just save it up for that portion of the track. But it's all about strategy getting it wrong here. It looks like Frenchie just got between the Red Bull. He's up into 8th place now. Or did someone, no, someone going to take a stop and someone had a bit of an incident, not sure. But he's up into 8th place at the moment. He just may improve that as you get it wrong. Going back to King out in front here, still holding on to 3rd place. Slayer Rice started 2nd, he's down to 4th. Still fighting in this session for positions here. Gonna get back up, but he's falling down the order a bit in terms of the gap here. He's 2 seconds behind the Williams, so losing a bit of time. There goes the Williams trying to close the gap with Yates once again. Can he get close enough? For an overtake? It doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Tries to push it along on the inside, but Yates still has the better exit here and holds that racing line. So I think he's gonna hold the position in 2nd place for now. It's only a 2:10 gap with these two. I think it's the main band we have on track. So I guess we're gonna keep following with them at the moment until we have some pit stops start to happen. Maybe in a few laps time, then we're gonna have a bit of a change up in the grid order and with the gaps between drivers here. Out in front, Lightwork definitely having one of his best races here. He's leading by 4.2 seconds. And I think he's going to probably want to keep it that way all through the session if he can. Trying to have a look at the rest of the see if we're having anything closing through instead of gaps. Let's have a look on where it comes to what's happening. So Cam Tissel Still has Mitch Burns following him, but the gap is now extended. It's about 1.3 seconds between them. So it doesn't look like that's going anywhere for now. Travis Scott here, 3.3 seconds behind Mitch Burns. Got Frenchie there in 8th. Got Hightower coming here in 9th. So a bit of separation between the Red Bulls now. Ulek in 10th at the moment and a half, trying to catch up. Quite a bit of a gap. Being Sudia, his teammate out of the race, of course. Thomas 12. We got Mason 13. Josh down in 14. Took a bit up in this race already. They've done about 12 laps so far on the set of tires that it started the race on. So we'll see what the gap is going to be. When we start doing some pit stops here. Top 13 of 36 so far. Looks like Williams definitely trying to save those tires a bit in terms of trying to follow on through with Yates, because Yates, of course, on the hards. His tire will go quite a bit more in the race. King here on the mediums, if he pushes too hard on them, he could bring those tires to the, I guess, their end point very soon, or sooner than expected. So if the tires give away from him, he's going to have to take a stop, which maybe he doesn't want to do right away. So he's going to push on them as much as he can. Trying to close gap once again down the main straight. Not happening close enough for him to get an overtake here. So he's going to have to keep it right behind Yates for the moment and going on through. The 210 gap, so pretty close between them. Got Mitch Burns into the pit lane as he gets in for his pit stop right about now. Switches on to the soft tires and gets back out. It's going to be a bit faster on those tires there. So he's done one stop so far. It looks like he's going to have to do at least one more, because we definitely know those tires are not making it to the end of the race. Let's see where he gets out on track. Those pit stops are going to start to happen here very, very soon now. For the rest of the grid as well. So he's back out. He's behind Hightower and running. It's a 1.1 second gap. We're expected to see that gap drop very, very quickly. It's already starting to go within a second here as he tries to close it down. Because the soft tires, of course, is going to have that much more grip. So he's definitely going to try for an overtake pretty soon. Try to work his way up the field before the rest of the grid starts to take their pit stop. Putting gap out in front with Yates and King at the moment still. Trying to go a bit down. Let's have a look what's happening. And they're down the main street. They are side by side going through. King on the inside. Looks like he gets ahead of Yates. He's once again back up into second place. There's another switch with the two of them. Yates down to third. And I guess they're going to run that for a few more laps. Maybe until they do a pit stop or until they switch it back again. Let's see what's going to happen. Can Yates get it back on a part of the track that is not the main straight is what's going to be interesting to see here. Let's go back to Hightower and Mitch Burns down the main straight. There goes Mitch. He's up into 8th place. Hightower down to 9. Those soft tires working very, very well for him right now. So he's going to work his way back up the field as much as he can here, because he knows he has the advantage with the fresh soft tires over the rest of the grid right now, who are on majority of the cars on tires that it started the race on. So those tires are going to start to go, especially those on the mediums. They will start to go pretty soon here. So those guys will have to start thinking about taking a stop at the moment. Going back out front, these two, and I'm trying to see where Mitch is. He's 5 seconds between him and Frenchie at the moment. But Yates closing the gap back once again. Just not close enough to actually get the overtake done. But Slayerize is in the pits right now. The driver who started second fell along the order to fourth. Battled pretty well for it. He's now into the pit lane. Want to see where he gets back out. Mitch Burns with the fastest lap in the session. No surprise there. Those soft tires definitely doing him pretty well in terms of gaining time. He's already 1.6 seconds, 1.4 seconds now behind Slayerize, breaking that gap down pretty well. Was about 5 seconds behind Frenchie, but Slayerize came out in front of him, I believe. So I think that's why that change up actually happened. Out in front, 6.4 seconds. The race leader ahead of King right now. onto 15 laps with most of the drivers here at the moment. And of course, we know they're going to have to start doing some pit stops pretty soon, because they have to do one mandatory pit stop with using two different set of tire compounds in a dry race. If it rains, it's a different story. That strategy goes out the window in terms of it being actual rule here. But yeah, they still have to actually use two different tire compounds in the race session between the soft, the medium, and the hard. So they're gonna have to make a switch at some point. Interesting battle here as they try to go three side by side. Let's see, I'll go side by side with the Slayrise and Mitch here. Mitch tries to get ahead. I think his soft tires work quite a bit better than the hards on Slayrise's car. Slayrise is now getting those up to temperature, at least getting into his second lap on them. Mitch definitely has those soft tires rubbered in, and he's up into P4 in this race. 21 seconds though separates him from Yates, who's currently running third, battling with King69 for second place at the moment. Let's see what's gonna happen. Slayrise is in fifth as he's trying to work his way up the grid right now. Took his stop from P4, by the way, so interesting to see he's already back up into fifth here. The 6:10 gap towards Mitchie Burns, so he can't get that overtake done. Down with Frenchie here at the moment. Looks like King69. The Williams is into the pit lane. That's going to leave Yates up into second now. And looks like King69 goes on to the hards, which we expect he'll be pushing all the way to the end of the race on. So interesting one-stop strategy for him. Quite sure light work is going to switch off those mediums and possibly go on to a set of hards and go to the end of the race as well. Or can he push it enough to possibly go to a set of softs and go to the end? I'm highly doubting it, but I don't know what could happen in this race here. Get back out in front with Yates at the moment. He's 7.9 seconds behind Lightwork. So a bit of a gap out in front now. Slayrise still in fifth here. Within a second of the Williams, not Williams, within a second of Mitch Burns at the moment. Mitch still under pressure, so Slayrise still has a DRS advantage to him in terms of trying to get by on the fresh hard tires that he's on right now. Looks like Yates is in the pits now, and he's going to be going on to a fresh set of medium tires. Race leader Lightwork out in front, still running on those mediums that he started the race on. He hasn't made a switch as yet, and his gap of course now 26 seconds. I think he definitely has enough time here to do a pit stop and get back out in front of the rest of the grid, still holding on to the lead. But he could do a stop without even losing the race lead here, from what we see with the gap that he currently has, which we're expecting him to possibly do a stop within the next lap or two. Maybe depending on the strategy that he's running, so we'll see how that's going to go. Obviously not taking a stop on this lap here. Let's go into Robert Yates now, back here in P3. He's just got back out on track. 7:10 gap between him and Mitch Burns. We know Mitch trying to get back up into a higher position as much as he can here. Got Slayrise coming in that battle as well. So gonna get very interesting here. Yates closing the gap on the Williams. He's gonna take it on the inside, going into turn one. Can he get the move done? He does get it done. Fresh tires are helping on both ends maybe here, but yeah, the straight line speed definitely did help. I guess the DRS advantage. The Williams right up on his rear though. He's still hoping to get back to position here as he tries to take it a bit on the inside. I guess maybe with a bit of late braking. He's pushing through. 3:10 gap. Yates under pressure with this. You got Mitch Burns and Slayrise fighting for fourth. Yates and King fighting for second, and overall both groups are gonna definitely come together, fight for second place overall in the session. Lightwork still leads out front 25 seconds. He's starting to lose a bit of time now. He lost about a second from the last lap that we had him. So he's gonna have to think possibly, oh, he's lost about another second, and he's gonna have to think about taking a stop right about now. 19 laps on those mediums, which are definitely starting to go, and he's losing time right now to the rest of the grid here. Gonna be a bit of a closer gap when he does get back out after his pit stop. If he doesn't take it within a lap's time, we'll see what's gonna happen. I do think he would have taken a pit stop by now. Either way, let's see what's going to happen here as we follow on with King and Yates here. Let's see, down the main straight once again into the next lap. Can Williams take it on the inside? He is going to take it on the inside, and he goes through, gets up ahead. Looks like he gets a purple sector 3 there as well. So faster lap time, I guess, than Yates. And he's going to push on through that, keeps it going. He's up in the second. Yates down to third once again. Is it going to be another switch when you get around to the lap, well, to the next lap, to lap 22? So gap keeping like within 1 to 3 tenths between the two of them. I guess it's going to be another switch as we get around to the main street. We'll see what's going to happen. If it's going to happen again, Slayer Rise and Mitch Burns still on with that bad. It's within a second between the two of them. So Mitch should still have the DRS advantage. The rest of the grid, we can see Thomas and Ulak down in the back. They're fighting for 9 positions, but a 4-10 gap. And we got Frenchie and the Alpine as well, trying to have something going there. We'll see what's going to happen. Everything's going to change with that. There 3-10 gap between Stu and Frenchie, so might be another change as these two go down the main straight once again. Not a switch this time though, as the Alfa Romeo is not close enough to the Williams to get the overtake done. With Tucci there getting off the exit of that turn. Keeps it going though with a gap of less than 3 tenths. Mitch Burns back into the pit lane here. He's going on to a set of mediums. That definitely will put him all the way to the end of the race. With that, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane there for one driver. That's Hightower, I think it was. So unfortunate for that. On with these two once again here as we get around lap 22 of 36 here for the Dutch Grand Prix. We got Yates and King have been going at it from the start of this race. Slayer Rise been in and out of that battle. Now he's was in a battle with Mitch Burns, but Mitch Burns took another pit stop, so he's on his own for the moment until Cam Tisla catches up to him. These two going on the main straight once again. There goes the Alfa Romeo on the inside of the Williams. He's going to be Yates getting back up in the second place once again. Looks like Lightwork took his pit stop, by the way. I just caught that as well there. And he's on some fresh soft tires, which I had a feeling he was going to try that strategy to push all the way to the point where he can take the soft tires and then go down to the end of the race with them. We know he can make it to lap 36 with the softs. So it was a pretty good strategy as well, but he's been leading out front with quite a bit of a gap. He's 4.9 seconds ahead of Yates right about now, who's 4 laps on those mediums already, and he's on the softs out in front, so he has that bit more of advantage in terms of I guess tire life and the speed that he has on the tires. So King still following on Yates. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid here. Ulek and the McLaren. Thomas there trying to hold on to P8 at the moment. 5-tenth gap between the two of them as they follow on through here. It's lap 23 of 36. Got 8th place for Thomas. Ulek in 9th. 4-10 gap. See if they can close that gap. No surprise there. Lightwork with the fastest lap in the session at 1:10. And of course, he's on soft tires at lap 24 of 36 compared to everyone else. Hightower on fresh soft tires now as well. Let's see if he can get a possibly faster time than what he currently has there. Yates closing that gap once again. We're going to go back out in front. King still in second. Yates down to third. Waiting to see if this is going to be another switch between the two of them. The final switch on the final lap. On the penultimate lap is what might decide who is going to be finishing in second place, unless one of them actually gets a penalty. My best guess here is going to be whoever is in third is going to wait until the penultimate lap, do the overtake down the main straight, take you into the final lap in second place, and then keep that going through to the finish line. Of course, you got to make sure that the car behind doesn't catch him on the straight before they get across the line. It's going to be a bit important that, so depending on what the gap is, it could potentially happen. I've seen these kind of things happen before. Yates here close enough again. Foster's going to take that inside. Yes, he does, and he's going to be going back up into second place. The Williams back down to third once again. Another switch between Yates and King as they continue on through into the next lap. Let's see who's going to be finishing second place. Any guess on this one here? I'm not sure. Let's see what's going to happen as we get through the race though. Slayer Rise in P4, 3.6 seconds behind, not racing anyone at the moment. Cam Tizzle left P5, got Travis Scott in 6, Mitch Burns 7, Ulek 8, Thomas 9. Looks like Thomas goes up into 8 now. Ulek down a position as he's just taking a pit stop there. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, not good. Hightower, of course, has that same penalty as he did it a few laps ago. So we have the Alpine in the pit lane as well. I know we followed, I think, Robert Yates and Mean King 69 for a majority of this race, but it's been an intense session between the two of them, with a switch by switch every few laps going through the race for second place. Very interesting to see who's going to be finishing in second. There we go with Kian. This time the Williams on the inside. He's getting back ahead. He's up into second place again. Yates down to third. We still got a few more laps to finish up this race session, so we're going to see who's going to be getting across the finish line in second. I remember no penalties between the two of them as yet, so they have to get the position or force their opponent into getting a penalty here. These two definitely pushing their cars to the limit right about now. Dirty air off that. Williams definitely not helping the front on Yates' car, but they've been doing switch by switch, so I guess they've been taking turns with it. Yeah, let's see who's going to finish second though. I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting one to see how this works out. As we said, it might just be whoever takes the overtake on the penultimate lap down that main straight, getting back up into second, might be the driver finishing second place in the race. Let's see what other gaps do we have in the session. No other gap this close. So I guess we're stuck with these two at the moment. Let's switch on the rest of the see where they are at the moment here. So Cam Tizzle and Slayer Rise, 2.2 seconds between them. Got Cam Tizzle trying to catch up. The Ferrari having a bit of trouble though. 9 laps on the hards, 10s on Slayer Rise's car on those same hard tires as well. We do have Hightower with a penalty. Soft tires though. Let's see if he's going to be able to improve his time at 13.1 seconds behind the McLaren. Currently another 2.1 seconds. At Ulek 11, 4 seconds behind now. Out in front here, back with light work once again as we have a look at him leading the race. Looks like he has a bit of traffic behind of him there, I guess, or he's getting to a bit of traffic here. It's one of the Alpines. He's lapping there. That's what the Alpine is trying to battle with him. And that's the Alpine of Sue, of course. His team is out of the session. So he's lapping his driver currently 14th on the grid. Heading towards, I guess that would be Mason out in front of him there. Going back to Yates and King again. See what's going to happen with these two as we get around to it. Yeah, still I think quite decent out in front. 9.8 seconds for light work, so he has enough room to even get a penalty or two and still finish on pole here for the Dutch Grand Prix, but he's having quite an interesting session. We're into lap 28. Got less than 10 laps to go in the Dutch Grand Prix. Got King and Yates switching second place back to back every few laps here. Want to see who's going to finish the race in second, who's going to finish in third. It's got to be one of the two of them, unless something definitely goes wrong during one of these switch overtakes that are having. Cam just 1.9 seconds behind Slayer Rise, so he's trying to catch up. He's broken the gap down just a bit so far. Looks like Thomas is out. Something's happened to the McLaren. because he's out, and that's a full safety car. This is going to change the entire aspect of the race now, because they're all going to be able to catch up to Lightwork out in front. Let's see if they're going to be able to challenge him on this, and who's going to take a pit stop here, because it's a full safety car. Gonna have a look. Where is Thomas on track? I have no idea right now what happened to him. So Thomas is out of the race. 2 drivers now finished. We got drivers in the pit lane right about now. Lightwork is in, King is in, Yates is in. They're all gonna get onto the soft tires. Fresh soft tires to go all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. So it's gonna be an interesting battle with the top 3. There we go. Down with the switches on the screen. Got Slayer is in, Cam Tizzle is in, Travis Scott is in. Is Mitch Burns going to go in as well? He's 6 laps on those mediums right now. It looks like he's going to stay out on track. Trying to find out what happened to the McLaren, if we can. But we didn't catch that on stream, unfortunately. Sorry, Thomas.
The Nürburgring is the only F1 track to have hosted 3 different races. The German Grand Prix, European Grand Prix and Luxembourg. Drivers on the grid today were kart racing as children, so they could enter the sport with much experience as possible. He was caught speeding in the pit lane in practice for the 2006 Turkish Grand Prix almost immediately.
Alright, so we're going to wait for the safety car period, of course, to be over, but we can get back racing. It's lap 30 of 36. I'm hoping we're possibly going maybe one more lap under the safety car to get everything cleared off track with Thomas's car. We can get this race back on the way again. As it is right now, everyone falling off behind the safety car at the moment. The order as it is right now, Lightwork still leading the Grand Prix as he started in P1. King is up into 2nd place and holds that true at the moment. Robert Yates in 3rd, Slayer Rise in 4th. He started 2nd, down to 4th. Cam Tizzle 5th, Travis Scott 6th, Mitch Burns 7th, Hightower 8th, Frenchie there in 9th, Ulek in 10th, Mason 11th. We got Sue in 12th and Josh there 13th on the grid. Waiting to see if we're going to be going one more lap under the safety car, which I think we will. Yeah, definitely we are. The safety car goes around.
Continue with the round 20 to 20 races a year.
Alright, unfortunate for Thomas there, we're back again. So we're about to get back racing into lap 32. So just a few laps of racing left in the session before we close off the session itself. Majority of the cars on the soft tires here, especially out in front. I want to see what's going to happen with the top few cars in this race. Light work. He's already starting to get away from Mr. Grid, is he? Putting a bit of a gap, but he's right there out in front. I think there are some lap cars in front of him maybe here. I'm not sure what the heck is going on, but either way, see what's going to happen. As we get back going here, the race is back on the way again as King is trying to keep as close as he can to Lightwork. Yates just in the middle of that as well, getting through. Slayer is coming up there in P4. So let's see how close he can get for the overtake here. Right up to the rear of Yates at the moment here. So he's going to challenge him for this as getting along to the next lap at least. No DRS advantage as the race is just gotten back on the way. Out in front looks like Lightwork is already extending his lead already within a sector of time. He's already a second ahead of King, trying to extend that gap to make sure they don't have DRS advantage when that comes back online very, very soon in about lap 33 or so. Got King trying to hold off, I guess, Yates down behind of him. We got Yates and Slayer right, a pretty close gap. The rest of the grid coming on through. Let's have a look as they all get on through here. The race back restarted. I don't think any major incidents after they got restarted there, but they're going to keep this going as best as they can. Some closer gaps down at the back of the grid here, which we're trying to follow on. Bulak here in the Haas at the moment, all with Mitch Burns up in 7th. Of course, he's on the hard tires here compared to the rest of the grid on the soft, so we want to see how that's working out for him. It looks like King out in front closes the gap a bit with light work through, I guess, that main street. It was the advantage which he needed, so he's done that. He's down to about 5/10 between him and the Aston Martin. Can he keep this going though all the way through to the next lap to possibly push even closer and maybe go for an overtake and try to get at it if he can before the race comes to an end? It's already lap 33 or 36, coming right down to the end of this race so quickly right now after that safety car period. King holding that gap under half a second right now, which is what he needs to do to go down the main straight into lap 30, into lap 34, close the gap, then into lap 35, take the overtake. He could possibly win this race if he pushes the strategy just right, but he has to keep that gap as close as it is right now without losing any time through the lap itself. That Yates coming off behind of him is 1.8 seconds. He's gained some time off Yates now. Losing him in the mix of this, he's not going to be out of DRS advantage either way. Slayer is a second behind. Here goes the Williams. Can he get the move done on this lap? I wouldn't push for it as it is right about now. DRS advantage coming up. He's going to have to hold it back on the racing line, which is a good call at this point. He's going to push it through for the overtake on the next lap, the penultimate lap of the race. And maybe he could possibly keep it in P1. Or it's going to be a bit of a rough call on this one here. It's only lap 34. He has to go one more lap on that same position. This is going to be all down to strategy here with the Williams and the Aston Martin. Who's going to hold position through into the final lap of the race is what I want to see right now. Cam Tinsley trying to get her Slayer rise, and it's about a 2-10 gap between the two of them. Let's have a look how that's going through. Final portion of the race here. The Ferrari up into 5th. He's trying to get past Slayer Rise to P4. Slayer Rise started second there behind his teammate, who is still leading the Grand Prix, of course. Out in front, we got a bit of a closer gap here. The Williams closing the gap again. He's down to about 3/10. He's going to keep that going as we're getting around here. We're about to get into lap 35. This, of course, now being the penultimate lap of the race. He's going to push for that overtake again. I'm quite sure he might be able to get it on this attempt. And he's alongside him, now gets ahead, gets overtake done before they get into turn 1. The Aston Martin light work though, he's going to force this back here. I think the advantage might go to him in terms of strategy here. He might be able to pull the overtake back, getting into lap 36 and take the lead straight through to the finish line on lap 36. I'll see what's going to happen. That's only a win for him if he does do it. So I guess it's going to be between King and Lightwork for the race win. Barbara Yates looks like he might be finishing third. Cam Tisdale a second behind of him though. Closes the gap just a bit more here. He's trying to bring down between the two of them. Can he get onto a podium place? The Ferrari pushing for that right now. Yates not going to want to give it up, but he started there in third, I believe he did. So he's going to want to hold that position at least. Till the end of the race, he did not able to get second place, which he's not able to get right now. as we go down lap 35, keeping an eye on these two out in front. The gap is still 3 tenths. Lightwork doing his best here to keep his advantage within half a second. He's starting to lose a bit of time here, getting around that final turn. And we're going to go down the main street now on board here with Lightwork. And he closed the gap with the Williams as he's pushing through. It's forced around the outside, and he gets the overtake done before they even get into turn 1. This, of course, now being the final lap of the race. Make sure we are right about that. It is lap 36. Let's see who's going to be finishing on pole here. It still could be a switchback through one of the turns if Lightwork makes a mistake here, which I highly doubt he is going to at this point in the session. And they're going to push for it all the way to the end of the lap here. You can take tires off now and just leave it as it is there with these two going through. Lightwork holding the lead. King trying to find an advantage anywhere on track that he can here. He knows it's the final lap. He's out of time to get this done. Might have went maybe a bit too wide off that final previous turn there. Keeps it going there with just about a 210 gap. Can he get the overtake done as they start to go onto the main straight before they get across with the line? It still could be possible. He has to close the gap as much as he can here. Follow that Aston Martin through as they now get a run. Can he get it done though? It's gonna be quite close between them. And looks like Lightwork gets it done. It's pretty close. So Lightwork finishes on pole. King 69 in second. Cantisdale finishes in third. Barbara Yates down to fourth. Playwright in fifth. And I think it was just a few hundredths of a second that separated Lightwork from King there for that win. I think that definitely was an interesting one. Frenchie there with the day, not bad from him. We're gonna have one final look, of course, at the preliminary result before we close out the session. Okay, so there we have it. The preliminary results here for Division 2 for the Dutch Grand Prix Midwest F1 Esports. We got Lightwork finishing on pole. King a very, very close second there with just about 400 of a second separating them. The Cam Tizzle finishing third. Barbara Yates in fourth. Slayer Rice finishing fifth. Mitch Burns 6th. Dulick in 7th. Travis Scott 8th. Hightower 9th. Mason in 10th. Frenchie 11th. 212. Josh 13. I think that was it for Travis. I finished the race unfortunately for Thomas. And Thomas and Altonian, they didn't get to finish the race session, unfortunately. But yeah, 13 out of 15 finishing a race session, really not that bad. And definitely was quite a challenging race for most drivers there, and quite interesting out in front with a few drivers. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining on the session. Please do leave a like on the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We'll leave more details about where the stream is going to be next week. But yeah, that's going to be it for the session there, guys. And I think we're going to call that a night.